Hello and happy new year. It's you, your boy Eli,
It's me, Joe.
and we're here to talk about something that, just ended. Um, so to start the year, we decided to talk about something that ended last year, and that is Stranger Things. I have been keeping up with the show since its first inception. I've never talked about it in the podcast, mostly because we didn't have someone who else in the team that actually watched the show. Now, I'm going to say this right now. We have Joe here. He has not watched the show.
No, I have not watched the show, although I do know at least a little bit about it through cultural osmosis. You
Which is
know,
fair. Which is fair.
it kind of happens sometimes when something gets kind of that big, where it's
Yeah.
like, even if you haven't watched it, you kind of at least know about it. I mean, I know the general plot, right? It's basically 80s nostalgia mixed with a bit of horror or
Stephen King,
Stephen King sort of stuff.
Spielberg,
Yeah,
all
like,
the things you like about the 80s. The
yeah.
pinnacle 80s show. I'll say that.
Yeah, it definitely came out around the time where 80s nostalgia was hitting the peak,
Yeah.
I feel. I mean, I know who 11 is, like
Hmm.
magic, not magic, but girl with psychic powers due to CIA mind experiments or some bull crap like
Yeah.
that. So, I get the general gist. I kind of understand a bit of it, right?
Yeah, okay. Yeah, no.
Yeah, the general gist.
Yeah, I heard something different, but no, okay,
All
yeah.
right. Well, all
Yeah.
right, I'll have to pick at your brain later then.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, you've been talking a little bit about the finale,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
Because they split it into like some
They split it into three parts. They
yeah.
call them volumes. Volume one was released around Thanksgiving. Uh, if I was gonna give a rundown of that, I think that was probably the most solid this season has been. The second batch, volume two, was three episodes and it was released during Christmas, and that one was not well received. I would agree to those statements on it being not well received.
Mm.
Uh, Things made sense, but the way their execution was, it was very off. Um, I like the scene of Will coming out. I think it's a great scene, but my issue with that is everyone in the room is in there, and I feel like not everyone should be in there, and it's really awkward. And though I find it funny that it's like we kind of already knew, but we had to explain to the characters that he's coming out, he is gay, and it's just kind of funny to me. But like it's a good scene. I just it is very distracting when it's just like everyone is in the room,
Right,
right? And
right,
it's
right,
like
right.
we had to stop for about a good 12 minutes to, you know, let people know that he is gay. And for me, I was like, I think I'm glad he came out, but it's just really weird. It's really awkwardly paced.
Yeah, because I've seen. I think that's sort of what was sort of the big discussion I remember seeing online. Was that there was this scene about a character coming out, and which is fine, right? It's 20. I guess as of recording right now. Well, when the episode came out, it was 2025. 2025 character coming out is gay. It doesn't seem like a big deal, right? But the fact that they kind of make it that big, sort of like everybody's here, everybody's like, it's okay, we still appreciate you and we
Which
love
I
you, and
love that part.
which yeah, understandable, right? I mean, especially for a show that's set in the 80s, right? Like where there wasn't a ton of that stuff going on,
Yeah,
Um, but yeah, I also understand the side of things of like, it seems a little not shoehorned in, but like just a bit much.
yeah.
Like, I understand your sentiment of like it shouldn't have been every single member of the main cast basically in there,
Like
right?
12 people in that room.
Yeah, it should have just been like maybe like him with his parents or whatever, or like one of his closest friends, a
Yeah,
part
I
of
think
it,
that like, the
right?
mom and friends would have been fine.
Yeah, not like every single main character or like named character.
Yeah, or people who just happen to be in the room.
Yeah, just sort of like, oh, I have no connections
Yeah,
to
because
this area.
there's
Oh,
like I know you never watched the show, but there's a character and to me his name is Murray, and he's like the
which one is the one that plays um why am I forgetting his name? From the Thunderbolts.
Hopper, yeah.
Yeah, Hopper,
Yeah,
yeah.
he's in the room.
He's in
He's in the room too.
but
But he's like unlike I just our joke was always Captain Communism, but it's not what he is.
No, he's not Captain
Red Guardian, Red
Communist,
Guardian.
Red Guardian. I was about
Yeah,
to call him Captain Dynamo. I'm like, wait a minute. Or Red Dynamo. I'm like, wait, no, Red Dynamo's a completely different character in the Marvel
that's
Universe.
Commando.
Yeah, I know.
No, no, no. He's in there, but he
Wait, no, it's
plays
Crimson Dynamo,
Crimson
actually.
Dynamo. Crimson
Yeah.
Dynamo.
But I know what
Yeah,
you're saying. Yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
but like, it's funny because like Red Guardian is much more in the movies is much more emotionally, I would say, what's the word? Like emotionally mature to understand like that kind of shit a little
Yeah,
better.
yeah,
Whereas
yeah,
Murray
yeah.
is very much 80s dad,
Yeah, yeah,
very
yeah, yeah.
disconnected.
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
Yeah, like I could totally see him like be a man kind of shit.
yeah.
He's also a girl dad, so it's kind of even more funnier.
Yeah.
But like, yeah, no, it's stuff like that. I'm just like, I don't know, like, because like Murray is this conspiratory dude who's like in the like would be in the webs and kind of stuff. I feel like he wouldn't have been saying much, but more to the point, final season was just a few days ago at the time of this recording, and I have issues, but they're not bad. A lot of people were talking about, and this is why I brought you in here, right?
Yes.
You who know nothing of the show,
Yes.
but understand from cultural osmosis and kind of understand the cultural impact this show has had, something that I feel people can't deny that it's like it has a cultural impact. I think the ending of itself has landed in a very satisfying manner, whereas something that's akin to like Game of Thrones, where a show that you also didn't watch.
I also didn't watch, but I also consumed it via cultural osmosis, right? Like I knew a lot of some of the references, right? I knew what a red wedding was, even though I didn't understand much of it. All I knew was like, oh, it's a lot of people died. That's why it's Red Wedding, right? Like
Yeah,
just a big shocking thing. I know Sean Bean dies, but that's because he dies in everything,
yeah,
right? Joffrey was a prick and he deserved to die,
yep,
as far as I
mhm,
remember. Um, Peter Dinklage, very solid character, kills a lady, I think.
yeah. I think
Jon Snow, she is my queen. That's
I know
the
nothing.
that's all. I mean, I know he's a bastard or whatever, but
Yeah,
that's the funny thing I like to quote sometimes, like she's my queen, because he was that was the thing he was doing, right?
and
Dragons took him a while, pretty cool. One of them got killed because
I was gonna say your only a cultural knowledge of Game of Thrones was the South Park episodes.
Yes, George, Wiener Wiener
You
Wiener.
know,
Yes, yes, pretty much. That's probably as much as Game of Thrones I got. Obviously, the big difference is that this final season of Game of Thrones, which I believe was 2019, if I recall correctly.
yes, it was around 2019.
Because I want to say because I remember I had a roommate who was watching Game of Thrones,
Yeah,
and he was trying to not get spoiled by one of the episodes or
yeah,
that come out. And I remember he went like something about like, oh, the Starks did a thing, because this was around Endgame, right?
yeah, yeah,
Tony Stark does the whole big sacrifice,
yeah,
and then what's her name? Arya Stark,
yeah,
right? She kills the Night King,
yeah.
right? It's like, oh yeah.
I'm surprised you actually know that.
Well, it's because I think he was talking a bit about it.
Yeah, yeah,
But it's one of those things where in my brain I'm like, okay, cool. I don't know anything else that's going on. All I know is that shit's happening, right?
yeah,
This is coming to the close. Then
yeah,
obviously, hits the fan. I know what was Danny, right?
yeah.
Does some war crimes, becomes Hitler, kind of, maybe. I don't know. Uh, Jon Snow has to kill somebody, and then the show ends, and the Game of Thrones ends with a guy in a wheelchair who didn't do anything at all, right?
He has Dr. Manhattan powers.
Yeah, because it was what was it? It's like he has the best story, right?
Yeah.
Like that's why he deserves to be king of the North. No,
No, no, no. It's like you're close, but you're kind of off. But no,
that's how you know I didn't
that's
watch Game of
no, no,
Thrones.
no. That's how I
But
know.
that's also it's just funny to me because I think this is like. I feel like I've done this a lot where I haven't seen any of these big sort of shows that a lot of people have been watching,
Yeah.
but yet somehow they always turn out that the ending is just kind of mid. Or I guess in the case of Game of Thrones where it's just bad. Like I'm pretty sure you believe that the ending is
Dude,
bad.
like I always stand that for Game of Thrones fans in where we're at was always kind of funny because we had Danny and one of her the other actresses who plays not Melisandre, I forget her name. But they were here during the episode of The Bells where everything just nosedives into hell.
Right, they were at the comic convention here. I
Yeah,
do remember going that we went to that
we went to the panel.
we went to the panel, right? And
Yeah,
I was just sort of like, cool, awesome, what's her name?
Emilia Clarke, I think is her
Emilia
name,
Clarke,
and the other actress's name I'm very much blanking on
she
because I
seems like
feel really bad for
a
that.
very nice person,
Yeah,
like she just seemed like a very genuine person, and obviously it seems a little because I remember, I think I do remember the script reading of those final episodes that it was put on YouTube or whatever,
yeah.
and I remember seeing some of the reaction images of some people reading their lines and stuff, and just sort of like.
Natalie Emmanuel was the actress, was the other actress that was there.
Yeah. Um, and I just remember people like all the actors sort of looking like a bit dismayed of just like, is this really happening? Are we doing this sort of thing? It almost felt like a prelude to like, oh God, we're reading shit. This is this is bad.
Yeah,
This isn't gonna end well. Um, but yeah, it's a very interesting sort of thing, at least in my brain, where again it's happening. Well, not
Sandy, that was her name. Yeah.
it's like it's not happening again, right? Like
No, no, no.
I feel like the reaction to the end of Stranger Things is just sort of, well, that was kind of mid, right?
Yeah, no, and like for me, like it ends in a way where like it's satisfactory, but it's just like, man, just the way we got here was just like, nah, not too good, not too great. And that's kind of the sad part of it. It's like it's a fine ending. I think everyone kind of agrees the way it ends is fine.
Like it
Uh,
feels like it makes sense in the whole in the grand scale of
in the
things,
grand
right?
scheme of things, that makes sense. It feels more satisfactory, but it's just kind of like, it's just kind of feels like we played it kind of safe, but it's all right.
Right.
But obviously, what I want to talk about, and as we just spilled for most of this time, is just kind of like the effect of like it the show being over and like how it's kind of like reflected on pop culture because you as we just like gruesomely explained, you who have not seen the show but have or can't deny it has left an impact on like pop culture as itself.
Well, yeah, I think because I think Stranger Things did a lot. I mean, it was probably like what I think it was. I think at the time Netflix's like biggest thing. Like,
Yeah,
I think I remember they did like some like video game stuff. I think there's another video game coming out, I believe.
yeah. They just announced like an animated series spinoff,
Okay, yeah, yeah, that's what I thought it was
and
a
then
series.
there's also like a couple of comics I think that came out. I think the one I've heard about the most was Stranger Things cross Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles,
Which is not canon, right? We
not
don't,
canon.
unfortunately, we don't get to see Donatello, Raphael, Michelangelo, and Leonardo hang out in this season, right?
No, no, no. And it's funny because like I remember hearing about the comic. I didn't look into it, but recently when the show was ending, I got like a notification on YouTube for someone that was talking about it. And it's like, oh, cool, it's cool. It's Mutant Ninja Turtles. And it's like, oh wait, it's like the classic Turtles, not
Oh,
like the cartoon classic, but
like straight up like that were straight up like supposed to be like based off of Daredevil and everything, right?
exactly.
Right,
And
right,
because like
right.
that came out in the 80s,
Yeah,
and it's like, oh, that's cool.
that's a neat way of looking at it because
Yeah,
you would think they would have gone with like the original cartoon, right?
yeah,
The
but
Trojans.
I think that was the 90s. The cartoon was from the 90s.
Are you sure? Because it feels like that would have been 80s. At least maybe it was late 80s.
Probably. It
You
was.
know what I'm surprised about? They never did a crossover comic with Transformers. That
Was that Transformers even out in the 80s?
Yeah, dude, it was peak 80s. Like at least I think G1 was probably 85,
You know
84.
why? Because 87 was the year that the show uh ends. The Stranger Things show ends in
Mm.
87, while the cartoon comes out in 87.
Okay, you know what? Fair enough. That's actually kind of interesting. So yeah, that's an interesting perspective there. I'm not gonna lie, that makes sense. It goes to show like how well they managed the sort of the timing of
Yeah, no,
that
it's
stuff.
surprisingly like they knew how to time the thing well.
I mean, granted, I mean, I think I remember what was it? It was like I don't know if it was the second or third season, but I remember seeing a trailer for one of those where like they're in the Ghostbuster costumes,
That was me
right?
too.
Yeah, it's like, oh yeah, it's 80s. Remember Ghostbusters? Yeah, yeah.
But like the thing I will say about it, aside from like some of the what ended up being some kind of annoying '80s references is how they would tie in like it being in the '80s very much well. Like they understood what the year was and how the setting has to reflect that time period. Because they that second season also talked about the election at the time with Reagan, and I forget who he's going up against at that time.
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, and like I always found it funny because like, oh, so you mean to tell me this character is like has very Republican parents?
Yeah.
Huh? That seems very weird for what he's doing.
Right. But yeah, I will say that yeah, I do agree. I think like I said before, like it came out around the time where it was sort of like peak 80s nostalgia.
Yeah,
And then I feel like a lot of stuff was sort of trying to come in the wake of Stranger Things of like adding on to the wave of 80s nostalgia. Because I
hmm
mean like because that show definitely came out at least what 2015, 2016. If I'm trying to
that's
think
about
of
right. Yeah,
yeah. So like yeah, there was just a ton of like stuff that was being marketed and like being remade from the 80s and stuff. Obviously we had the Ghostbusters remake, which like you know people have opinions about. I'm kind of just like whatever.
yeah. No, I'm also very much on that
But
stuff.
I listen, I just don't understand, and just to get a little off topic here, I just never understood why people wanted to make Ghostbusters into like a massive like franchise. It's like clearly it only worked once because even Ghostbusters 2 is kind of mid. I'm sorry for all the people who were born in the 80s who were like Ghostbusters is the greatest thing ever. It's like, yeah, it's fine. I don't know. Maybe it's because we were born in the 90s, but
No, no, we liked the first one. We never watched the second one
yeah, but
because I was like,
that's you don't need a second one.
yeah.
You're good with the first one. It's all right.
It also makes sense because like around the time is when like Star Wars is coming back too.
That is definitely true. I mean, granted, it's not technically 80s because
Yeah,
it started in 77, but
yeah,
like the last, Return of the Jedi was definitely in the 80s.
yeah,
Um, but yeah, no, it just, but no, I definitely do agree with the sentiment that Stranger Things definitely had a good chunk of impact on the culture.
yeah.
Um, like, I mean, I'm pretty sure there was a fair amount of like supernatural like shows coming off sort of not trying to ride the wave of super Stranger Things,
Yeah.
but like because I'm trying to think off the top of my head because part of me wants to say that like the New Mutants movie that was supposed to come out
hmm
during that time was definitely taking I think some like inspiration from it.
No, no, there was like a lot of the vibes that you can see is like kind of like in that sense because like the thing about Stranger Things that it really did capture like a lot of that '80s feel, especially with like I wouldn't say beginning paranoia, but like sort of like how people's reaction to like a lot of government cover-ups kind of stuff. Because it's kind of like one of the big things about it, right? It's like government experience, MK Ultra kind of thing. In
Yeah,
fact, I
yeah.
think that's what the series started. That's where like 11 was. Is she was kind of like an MK Ultra baby or something like that.
Mhm.
It's been a while since I've seen the first season, but like it made people realize what Dungeons and Dragons was.
That's probably the other thing I remember too, because granted, I'm not saying like Dungeons and Dragons wasn't big already. Like you have
Yeah,
Critical Role
yeah, Critical Role.
sort of stuff and like all these other stuff, but like that was a fair amount of like stuff I think I remember from like you start to see a lot more Dungeons and Dragons stuff popping up, like partially just because like hey, these kids were playing this the game in Stranger Things and it's kind of like what is it? If it's like part of it kind of becomes a bit central to the plot if I'm correct or at
You
least
could argue that the whole show is really more of a Dungeons and Dragons like storyline than it is a like a like something inspired by Stephen King and all that stuff. But I feel like
interesting.
but honestly, like that's something I saw online, but I'm not 100% sure on it. Dungeons and Dragons was always one of those things where like I wanted to get into, but like I didn't know anyone that played, and by the time I knew that people that played, you kind of got into the Dungeons and Dragons curse, which is like, all right, uh, not many people have time to play.
That's sort of a thing of whatchamacallit, like adults having no time to hang out
Exactly.
kind of thing. I remember, and I don't know if it was because I don't think any of my friends in college watched Stranger Things. I think they might have, at least maybe one of them.
Yeah.
But I do remember at one point we were kind of contemplating just maybe trying to play Dungeons and Dragons before we quickly realized, well, clearly one of us has to. be the dungeon master and like have to figure this stuff out, and then it's sort of like who wants to do that? And it's just sort of like nobody really. Not to
Exactly.
say that we were lazy about it or anything,
It's just
but
it's a very time-consuming game.
yeah, and you're much rather off, better off just watching people play Dungeons and Dragons, I guess. That's
Yeah.
probably why Critical Role is so popular. Even to this day, got its own animated spin-off, right? Vox Machina, if I remember
Yeah, and I
correctly.
think there's another series that's basically inspired by someone's D&D campaign.
Yeah. But it's yeah, it's very interesting because now I think about it, yeah, that was sort of around the time where it did seem like Dungeons and Dragons
Yeah,
was gaining a
I
resurgence.
had people ask me if like do have I ever played Dungeons and Dragons? And I was like, no, but I know what it is.
Yeah, it's like,
Like, because I'm a nerd and I know these nerdy things. I just can never get into it. Like,
yeah.
I know Battlestar Galactica, but I've never sat down and watched Battlestar Galactica.
Uh, all I know is that all I know is the Robot Chicken sketches. That's all I got.
That's it. Same thing with like Doctor Who.
Yeah, David Tennant. He's a British man. That's all I got.
British time traveling
Yeah, but
man
people got upset that the doctor became a woman. I don't know why, but
because they're weird.
yeah, whatever.
Weird.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, no. Yeah, because it is. I think in my brain, like now that I think about it, yeah, you could say that Stranger Things did contribute to that sort of rising acknowledgement of that. But yeah, it's I'm just trying to think of like of anything else off the top of my head because it's just it is the show lasted at least probably a good 10 years if we're gonna be if I want to say it came out in 2015
Yeah.
maybe. Which that's a long time. Although
The
I will say it is a bit interesting
mhm.
in my brain because correct me if I'm wrong here, are the actors now way too old to be in high school?
Way too old to be in high school.
Yeah,
We're Lieutenant Mountfort is 23 years old. That boy's in college.
it's not okay. So it wasn't as bad as I thought it was because I'm gonna be honest. I thought they would have been at 30 years old at this point.
No, but some of them definitely are should be.
Yeah, it's just heck. I think freaking Lee Bobby Brown just was in a lot of things afterwards,
Yeah,
right? Because
yeah.
of the whole, you know.
A lot of them became big. Some I feel like need to become a little bigger, but the idea is that Stranger Things at the end of the day was the big streaming show.
Yeah, and I think you could argue it definitely pushed Netflix into the stratosphere in terms of like, because I mean, Netflix has always had like its own original programming. I think
Mhm.
like the first big hit they ever had was like Orange is the New Black, I think.
Yeah,
Just a lot of interesting sort of shows and stuff. But it was definitely around that time period, right, where like Stranger Thing became like their thing.
it
And you
was a
could argue,
juggernaut of a thing.
yeah, you could argue that Netflix definitely milked it. I
A
mean,
little
hell,
too
you
much.
could argue the new animated series, and I think there's even like one of the actors is gonna do like a podcast just rewatching all of Stranger
I
Things.
did not know that.
I saw that on Twitter, which and I remember seeing responses being like, "Hey, damn, they're already milking this baby dry already." Which is
No,
like,
yeah,
well, I mean, that's the actor doing it, I think, on his own accord.
yeah.
But yeah, it's you know, I think it's
But I think we're also forgetting the fact that this it kind of inspired people to bring back it.
yeah, I guess
I
so.
wouldn't say inspired, but like it came around the time like
Yeah,
people,
yeah, the remakes. Well, and I guess yeah, technically remakes, right?
yeah,
Or
the
like,
remake of it.
yeah, came out around the time when Stranger Things was coming. Not when it was coming out, but in that
Yeah,
during its run, right? And you could argue it definitely took a little bit of inspiration from it because it's like, hey, basically kind of the same plot. A group of young kids in the 80s having to deal with supernatural, crazy shenanigans,
yeah.
right?
Well, it wasn't in the. I think it was set like further back. But to your point, yes, continue. Yeah,
Yeah, but you know what I mean,
yeah,
right? Um, well, probably, yeah, you're right. Probably when the kids were young, it was set probably in the 50s, and
yeah,
then when they cuts to the adults, they're in the 80s.
yeah. And then they switched it because they wanted to keep it like in a modern setting.
Yeah, yeah, a little bit.
Yeah,
That's what it was. Yeah,
yeah,
now that I think about it, yeah, because yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, 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 yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, because I'm just trying to remember. Listen, listen. I don't want to say what I remember it the most for because it's probably gonna get this video taken down.
No, no shit.
All I know is that there's definitely a meme of Pennywise the clown talking to some police officers about what's going on in the sewers. And that's my favorite joke every time we talk about it.
Bad joke.
It's, listen, man,
It
like Stephen
it's
King was on
some shit.
he was on all the drugs when he was making that book, and
The turtle.
I like listen, man.
It's even funnier because the show ended like last year, right?
Right.
At the same time, an It TV show comes out.
Yeah, the new one, right?
Yeah,
Like
What's
it's
on
a
the Dairy.
yeah, which is a prequel to the It movies or whatever,
They
which is
still don't mention the turtle, by the way.
I mean, I don't know, man. Is anybody ever gonna mention the turtle? I mean, boy, Stephen King's expansive cosmology or whatever you want to call it.
Yeah,
What a crazy kooky guy. How does Cujo fit into the Stephen
it
King
does. I don't think
universe?
it does.
What about was it Maximum Overdrive? Is that the one where like all the cars come to life and kill people?
I think that was just a movie, wasn't it?
I thought that was the book.
I don't know.
I mean, you got Cujo, you got that one. Langoliers? Do you remember Langoliers?
That one may be connected.
Scaring the little girl? Lady.
Or I was thinking of what Firebrand or whatever that was.
The Dark Tower,
Oh,
that
that no, that's the central.
that's the main
That's the
one.
main one. That's the
They
main
made a
one.
movie with Idris Elba in it, didn't do so hot. And I remember people being like, this is gonna be the next big thing, the Dark Tower, bro. It's gonna be epic. And it's like, yeah, sure, yeah,
Yeah.
sure. I mean, I think you might be on you might be smoking what Stephen King was smoking back then,
Yeah.
talking about that. Um,
Well, to be fair, like a lot of it's doing a cosmology is very hard. But back to Stranger Things. No, yeah, you could totally see the influences everywhere. It's sort of became hard not to notice, but at some point, I feel like Stranger Things kind of just kind of kept to itself, and I'm kind of glad it did. Um, was it always going to end in the best way possible? I don't think it was going to.
it's hard for a lot of these TV shows to end in a satisfying
It's
note.
hard for anything to end satisfying.
I mean, people, I think to this day are still like butthurt about the ending of like say Attack on Titan, and I remember being like, I understand why some people feel like that, but at the same time, I think the ending was fine. Like,
You don't think it's the greatest show ever?
no, yeah, I was about to say I don't think it's the greatest show ever, but like, I think it was a decent ending for what it was.
Yeah,
Obviously,
I feel like that one came more from the manga fans, though.
yeah, probably because I think anime fans were kind of maybe expecting it, at least from what they heard, and then
Yeah.
when the time they got to it, it's like, okay, fair enough. I mean, God, in terms of like endings with like TV shows with like bad endings, I guess How I Met Your Mother.
That one did end up pretty bad, and that's
It was
because
definitely because if I recall correctly, the creators had already had the ending set in their brains like since season three or whatever,
yeah.
and by that point, like the characters are all gone through various arcs. It felt like just a betrayal.
Oh no, definitely. Like you spend a whole season sitting around like Barney and Robin's wedding, and only
Yeah,
for them to have a
yeah,
divorce towards the end.
yeah.
Which I'm like, why?
And then the whole build up to the mom, right? And when
And
you finally meet her, she's only there for a little bit because she dies and all that
yeah,
stuff.
like wow,
Yeah, what a waste.
what a waste. And like it is very hard for someone to end a show, and it's like I don't. I try like my hope for whenever a show ends is like, can you nail the landing though? Can you nail it? It doesn't have to be perfect. It doesn't have to answer all my questions. And I think a lot of people just kind of want all the answers questions answered.
Right.
And I'm just like, I don't want it. I just want something that makes sense for an ending, right? Like you using Attack on Titan, like I feel like that ended fine. I have problems, a lot of problems with that show, but I think the ending made sense for what they were trying to do. Same thing with the show. It ends in a way where I'm like, okay, that is satisfactory. No notes. Just my only thing is, well, kind of how we went to it, right?
Yeah.
Like this is you sprinted and now you're at the finish line, but you're running out of gas.
Right.
That's really what it is.
Yeah.
And it's hard for some people to maintain that kind of consistency all throughout, whether they planned the whole thing out from beginning to end or kind of knew how to thread the needle until like every change makes sense into the ending.
Right, right.
Like I can't think of aside from like Game of Thrones where the ending was bad.
Yeah, and it's funny because I remember with Game of Thrones, like George was like, we could have made like a couple more seasons out of this, but it becomes kind of apparent that like once the creators were like uh
Given Star Wars.
given like, hey, you can make some Star Wars movies for us. They were just like, Star Wars, I love Star Wars. This fantasy, like
Yeah.
we're out of here. Let's get it all out, blah 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 blah. You know. And I don't know. Granted, at the same time, Georgia hasn't finished his books,
Yeah.
so we probably might not get a satisfying ending to those either.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
how old is that guy?
I don't know.
I mean, I'm not saying he's getting there, but like, I mean, like, he
Yeah.
hasn't.
He
I know,
supposedly has finished the book but hasn't yet to publish it. I don't know what's going on with those books.
dude. Like at this point, like George clearly sees the roadmap. Like, oh, okay, I have
Because
to make
apparently
sure.
he's also involved in some of the other Game of Thrones spin-offs.
Yeah, what is it? House of the Dragon,
House of
right?
Dragon, I think there's gonna be a Dunkin' Egg, which is I think it's called A Night of the Seven Kingdoms.
He also got distracted with Elden Ring.
He got distracted with Elden Ring, that's right.
Yeah, yeah.
It's like, George, you have time to write, but you're not writing the most important thing.
Listen, all I know is that you just gotta do wiener 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 wiener.
But no, yeah. That's about as much as I can say. But like, yeah, no, you can't deny Stranger Things has like cultural impact on a lot of people and like a lot of the things. Like the resurgence of D&D, people's well, really breaking D&D into like mainstream.
Yeah, yeah,
And then like, you know, peak 80s nostalgia and like using it to like the best effect to like, establish like the world we're in, especially whenever each season like a different year and like a reference into like what was popular at the time.
right.
Like they had a season within the mall, which I thought was kind of annoying, but like this is the 80s, fucking malls were everywhere.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, I think it's as a show, I think it's fine. Like for me, season one's still the best.
Now I have a question for you.
Yeah.
Have you watched any of The Boys at all?
The Boys.
Yeah, because that's ending soon, right?
That's ending soon. I have not watched anything of The Boys.
Okay, cool, cool, cool.
It was hard for me to get into The Boys because I knew the comic.
And
And
you're
that,
kind of like, I don't want to watch that.
no, I don't want to watch that. I knew
But
the
from what
comic.
I understand, it's different from the comics for a little bit.
I've heard it's a lot better than the comics.
Hmm.
And I'm like, that's good. Though the thing about The Boys is that it's written from a guy who just loved superhero comics but kind of ended up hating the superhero comics. And there's like a really interesting like thing we could maybe talk about and how like comics were censored the hell out because a lot of people will tend to forget that before they were censored, the most popular comic wasn't the superhero, it was like the horror comics. And they went
Yeah.
into straight detail of like a lot of the like, gore and all the horrible things that you can do in a horror book.
Yeah, and that's sort of what actually caused what was the Comic Fright Association, right?
Yeah,
Comic Codes, or
the
better
Comic Code
term,
Authority, yeah.
yeah, Comic Codes Authority, which pretty much just censored a lot of things. Like you had to get this stamp to be like seen. If you're not, you're kind of like labeled as like you're like blacklisted or whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah,
That could be an interesting topic to talk about.
yeah,
Yeah, but like that's kind of like why, and that kind of like turned a lot of superheroes into like these super squeaky clean kind of characters. As that's why kind of like I think the writer's name is Garth Ennis kind of wrote that as a response to it, you know.
yeah.
So it's like, well, I'm just gonna make them the most worst people ever because I just kind of got annoyed by them, which I get because if you all you're of all you're led into believe is like like say if you only watch movies that were like this one specific genre and they all played the same, you would come to hate it too, especially if you want
Yeah,
to work in that industry.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
So I get it. I just also don't think it's written that great.
But yeah, I think that's about it,
That's
right?
about it. That's all I gotta say. It's I mean, if you're someone who really enjoyed all of Stranger Things, I'm happy for you. For me, I think it's fine. Joey's probably not gonna watch it.
No, no. It's. I mean, granted, it doesn't have, from what I understand, any not as bad as Game of Thrones, but I ain't gonna put my time to watch that.
No, this dude is not usually if like he'll watch it when he wants to, and chances are it's just like a blue moon he'll ever watch it.
Yeah, yeah. It's not to say, I understand there's a lot of talk about people writing stuff nowadays for the second screen, right? Like, oh, I'm just paying attention to something else while I'm watching this or whatever. But at the same time, I would like to have some background noise when I'm like just doing stuff.
Yeah.
But I mean, I don't think I could do that for Stranger Things. So it feels like something I need to pay attention
Yeah,
to.
no, that makes, yeah, no, I got you.
Yeah. But yeah, I mean, what
That's about it.
that's a good way to start the year. First
Yeah.
year of first podcast of 2026.
Well, many more to come too. But yeah, if you enjoyed what you heard, be sure to follow us on all social media, Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter. And you'll find a link tree on Instagram where we're most active on, and you'll find links to our YouTube where you can like, comment, subscribe, and put a face with a voice. And all the podcasts we're officially part of, like Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Spotify, Pandora, and any form of the like, and a Patreon for any form of support. That's been the first episode of the year, and hopefully we got many more coming out. We I know we'll be definitely talking about Doomsday.
Yeah, I was about to say like
That was gonna be a topic.
2026 is going to be interesting. You got Avengers Doomsday. There's been teasers about it. There's been a lot of discussion about it, but I want to say we're going to hold our thoughts until an
Yeah,
actual trailer comes out
yeah.
because yeah, there's a lot to talk about.
There's a lot of things I'm very hopeful for, and a lot of things I'm very concerned about.
I mean, we haven't even gotten the trailer for new Spider-Man either, which
No,
I think is next year, right?
I don't know. I think it's in between this one and the next one.
Yeah, but the next one, Secret Wars is next year, isn't it?
Yeah, yeah, that's what I'm saying. I think it's in between those two.
So it has to be sometime
Yeah,
then.
sometime this year. So
Yeah,
we'll
maybe
see.
I don't know. But yeah, we'll see you next time, right?
Yeah, anytime. And it's been your boy Eli.
You meet
You guys
Joe.
have a good one. Peace.